we've already, in theory, had a complete victory from the military standpoint. The military, look, their Navy is dead. They have 150. They had 159 ships. Right now, they have 0, other than little.
Wait, did you catch the sheer absolute confidence here? He didn't just threaten their military. He casually announced they essentially don't even have a Navy anymore. The internet is completely exploding over this clip.
As you just detailed, Joey, involves taking out the entire state Supreme Court. Just basically going back retroactively and saying, oh, you're all too old. The new cutoff is 54. You're all ineligible to be justices, so you're out. Filling 7 seats with their own hacks and doing it again. That is Banana Republic, like total.
Okay, pause and just deeply process what was just casually admitted on national television. A mainstream network is completely losing its mind over a reported plan by political operatives to literally fire an entire state Supreme Court. How? By retroactively changing the retirement age to 54. This is absolute madness. Notice how the host visibly struggles to even comprehend the strategy, calling it Banana Republic and institution-destroying madness. This isn't just standard political maneuvering. It's a completely unprecedented attempt to hack the judicial system simply because they didn't like a ruling on their congressional map. It's wild to see the media genuinely panic because they know how bad this looks to the everyday voter. Instead of just winning legally, the strategy is literally to erase the judges and install highly partisan replacements overnight. The absolute desperation here is off the charts, and you can see the panic setting in across the board.
Laws to stop the ability of these deep-pocketed special interests to intervene. And we are going to have to explore massive judicial reform, state by state and at the federal level, and everything should be on the table as far as I'm concerned.
Look right here at this specific demand. This isn't just a casual suggestion. This is the highest ranking official in the House actively demanding a massive nationwide overhaul of the judicial branch from the ground up. Listen closely to the exact phrasing. Explore massive judicial reform state by state and at the federal level. That is political code for completely rewriting the rule book so the courts bend entirely to their will. It is incredibly alarming when you pair this speech with what we just saw happening in Virginia. They are actively telegraphing their exact playbook out in the open. If they can't win at the ballot box and they can't sneak their gerrymandered maps past the state Supreme Court, their absolute last resort is to just pack the courts and fundamentally alter the entire justice system. The sheer arrogance to literally say everything should be on the table proves they are perfectly willing to burn down the entire legal structure to secure absolute, unchecked power.
Got taken out 8 a day by us. They have no Air Force. They have no anti-aircraft. Now, they probably put the shoulder jobs into service over the last 3 weeks, probably. But essentially, they have no anti-aircraft, they have no radar. And frankly, their leaders have been killed at the first level, second level, and half of them.
This is the exact moment the entire geopolitical landscape completely shifted. You have a former president openly declaring, on the record, that an adversary's entire air defense grid is essentially non-existent. Look at the casual delivery. He just lists off the total systematic dismantling of their military infrastructure. No anti-aircraft, no radar, and high-level leadership entirely wiped off the board. It is completely unprecedented to hear military strategy discussed with this level of blunt, surgical transparency. He is fundamentally stripping away all the standard political theater and just exposing the raw, brutal reality of the situation. And notice the subtle jab about them desperately trying to crawl back to the negotiating table with a stupid proposal, only after they've been completely decimated. It's a massive flex that completely undercuts the entire mainstream narrative that the US is somehow losing its grip. He is basically looking right through the camera and telling the world that the threat has already been neutralized.
Renewing Project Freedom, but he says This time around, the U.S. guiding ships through the Strait of Hormuz would be just one small piece of what would be a larger military operation. When it comes to peace negotiations, the president tells Fox the regime is, quote, going to...
Did you catch that hidden detail? He specifically frames the U.S. naval movement as just one small piece of a much larger puzzle. He is actively teasing a massive kinetic operation without completely giving away the exact tactical blueprints. And the absolute confidence in the phrase, the regime is going to fold, is sending shockwaves through every single intelligence agency right now. This is a masterclass in psychological warfare. He knows exactly who is watching this footage, and he is intentionally maximizing the pressure by leaving the true scope of Project Freedom completely ambiguous. It forces the adversary to guess and panic. It's not just about guiding ships, it's about completely reestablishing dominance over the single most critical global choke point. The stakes literally could not be any higher, and this specific 15-second soundbite is exactly why everyone is absolutely holding their breath, waiting for the next move.
And Trump term is that there'd be a group of Democrats who will now say, oh, he's changed the rules, let's play by his rules now. And you're like, no. I mean, look, go ahead and do it, but don't be surprised when voters sort of decide, man, you guys are full of shit too.
Yep.
And you guys aren't serious about the democracy.
Nope.
This right here is the ultimate media wake-up call. You literally have an MSNBC panel entirely turning on their own political allies. Just listen to the absolute exasperation in their voices. They are flat out admitting that the threat to democracy narrative was entirely hypocritical the whole time. They are looking directly at the camera and warning their own party. Voters are going to decide you guys are full of it too. It is unbelievably rare to see this level of raw, unscripted honesty break through the mainstream echo chamber. They finally realize that aggressively rigging maps, screaming bias every time they lose, and trying to fire entire Supreme Courts is massively backfiring with the American public. The host literally says, you aren't serious about democracy. You are just trying to rig it in your direction. That is the exact quiet part out loud. When even the most friendly media networks start calling out the utter hypocrisy, you know the political strategy is completely self-destructing. The whole system is glitching right before our eyes. Drop a comment below on who you think is panicking the most, and hit subscribe before this gets taken down. See you in the next one.